time for a Studebaker update. I finally got the rear end fixed in the car, and the only thing that I lack is the there are some hub bushings. I have my wheel spacer on here. This isn't really a good illustration, huh? Let me pop these guys off quick. Alright, so the only thing I lack is there's a little spacer that goes between the hub and the axle, or between the axle and my disc brake. Probably aren't going to be able to see it on camera, but there's just a tiny bit of difference in diameter between the hub and the disc brakes. So I literally just need like a 10,000 spacer, and then this car is back on the road. So those of you who are familiar with my previous setup, I had a wastegate tube that tied back into the exhaust. I decided to delete that and go for just a regular old blowdown, just dump underneath the car, because I didn't feel like getting another expansion joint, and I kind of wanted this thing to make a little more noise, so that's that. You'll notice I decided to go with AN fittings for all my wastegate stuff. I kept having issues with my nylon or whatever this tubing is. Yeah, you can see here. See how it's starting to melt there? Yeah, it's not good for boost control, so kind of hoping that the AN stuff will do the trick, but who knows. I may have to go to hardline at some point, but hoping the AN will do the trick. So I guess I can fire it up for you guys. You can see the turbo spin. So before we make the neighbors too mad, I think I'm gonna stop doing that. But I had a little issue with my wastegate. It's pretty close to the hood. Probably should have made that tube a little shorter, but really don't feel like going back and fixing that now. So I need to get a real pipe plug there. That's just a plastic one from who knows what. And so got all the brakes plumbed. Yeah, I guess I should show you what the rear looks like. I found a disc brake kit. My dad and I found at the flea market, and we go to a lot of flea markets, so there's definitely an advantage to buying other people's used stuff, which actually this was brand new, but there's so many people that start projects and don't finish them. It's ridiculous, but hey, it just makes it easier for us. But it's just a regular bolt-on 9-inch disc brake kit. So the rear had to be narrowed like 3/8 of an inch because the axles weren't quite seated. That's why we're running a spacer now. So really excited to see how this turbo does. And excited to see if we actually have boost control. So I'm sure that'll be later in this video. You'll see that, I'm sure. For me, it might be a few days, just because it seems like it rains every other day here, so whatever. I got to get this thing inspected, so Street Rod show is coming up, and excited to take the car to it. So I think I'm going to leave this clip here, and hopefully the next clip is doing burnouts and maybe looking at some logs. So, all right. Alright guys, so I just wanted to show you that we indeed have boost control. So I'm pretty thrilled about this. That's always been a struggle for me and my dad in the past. And so you can see so I basically took it out with 0% duty cycle on the boost controller, and you can see it goes up to about 6 pounds. You can see that in the second graph here in green, or the third graph, sorry. You can go, it goes up to 6-7 pounds and remains there pretty steady. I wasn't on it there for very long, and then got on it again, right around 6.3 psi. Then at some point I threw some duty cycle at it. Not yet. Okay, so I threw some duty cycle at it. You can see that in white on the third graph. So you can see it goes up to about 9 psi. I threw 20% at it, and it stays super steady even on gear change. So that's awesome. And then I took it out again and took it out again tonight, and I threw 30% at it this time, and you can see it stays pretty steady at 14, which is where we were at on the dyno. So car feels very strong. It definitely pulls harder in high gear, which leads me to believe that the back pressure was indeed the issue. So it's pretty exciting. So I'm going to leave you guys off there and catch you in the next